All right, guys, welcome back to the relegation battle. Sort of nearing that Christmas period now, but going through this last stages of European football before we head into that. Jack, let's start with you. Since our last episode, Rangnick has completely taken charge. He's been in charge of a few games now. How do you feel about it so far?
First game against Crystal Palace on the weekend, I thought was overall very good. First 30 minutes were very, very good. I thought we pressed so high. We didn't let Crystal Palace out the half. It was good, and then when the second half started, we just dropped. I don't know if that was because we're not used to that, because we didn't really do it. We didn't press that much under Ollie, so maybe our players got tired. But we still, even though we didn't press as much, I still felt we had total control of the whole game in this first game, which hasn't really been said for a long time under Ollie. You know, we had control, I think, for like pretty much 90 minutes or a good amount of it. Got the goal, but should have scored 2 or 3 in the first half. And today's game, he's played a youth side, or not really a youth side, to be fair. Players have come on which are youth, but the team are like second string.
Yeah.
So drawing 1-1 at the moment, but we're already through. So looking forward. I know I get Norwich, but looking forward to Premier League action on the weekend. But it's been good so far.
Yeah. Yeah, so was it Tom Heaton came on like 70th minute? Yeah.
Yeah, about 65th, 70th minute.
Yeah.
Debut.
Just shows, I think, how you guys are taking the game. Pretty much already, we've already topped the table anyway. Yeah, like you said, there obviously you guys are very good in that first half against Palace, but it's still your first game. I think I saw that was your best game in terms of winning the ball in the final third as well. Already, I think it's clear how he wants to play. I think that's something that was already missing under Ole a bit as well. The clear sort of game plan. So it's obviously good for United fans. What are you expecting in January then? Are you expecting him to sign a few players? Because although he's not manager, he's still going to be at the club the next few years.
I can't see him bringing in loads of players. I can't see 3 players because of the amount of talent we have. I can't see us, but I can maybe see us going for a midfielder. A few midfielders have been linked. I see a few players going out on loan or going out permanently. But because he's only here 6 months, I don't think we'll see too much. And like I said, I know he's here after, but I'm not expecting to see 3 in, 3 out. I'm expecting to see maybe 1 in and a couple out loans and permanent. So, yeah, I don't think we'll do a lot in terms of that, yeah.
Yeah, like I said, United top of the group right now, so they're safe from a few teams. I think the hardest right now probably is PSG or Atletico Madrid, either one of those two. But obviously things can still change in the other groups as well. Tottenham, just going away from Champions League a bit, go to Tottenham. There's always been a COVID outbreak at your team. I believe tomorrow's game against Rennes has been called off as well. And the Brighton game has been asked to be postponed. I'm not sure if that's gone through yet, but do you know exactly what's happened there or is it just
it's a bit random. We had the only other time we had something like this was like a month ago where Son and Brian Gill got it, which they've got it again, but that was like false. Like they've done that rubbish first test and then they've done a PCR test and that came negative. Obviously, they must have got the PCR test for this one back, obviously, because that's probably what they were waiting on for it to be given to the European people on who decides whether the game goes on. I'm a bit surprised, actually, that we aren't playing the Thursday one. I think it's the right call, obviously, but I saw that the European rules on it are quite strict compared to the Premier League. So I was expecting the Brighton one to get postponed. I still am, especially now that the European one's been postponed. But yeah, I'm quite shocked. I'm happy Even though I do want to watch my team play football, I want to watch them when it's the right time to watch them, and right now it isn't, because it puts you at a disadvantage, to be honest, because there are quite a few couple like key players. So yeah, it'd make a big impact. But yeah, it's just a bit shit, to be honest. But it is what it is.
Yeah, obviously, it's no good time to have COVID without breaking your team. But right now, say, they're out for a week or whatever, we don't know what the effects have been on the players themselves or staff themselves individually. Right before a very sort of hectic Christmas period, are you a bit worried now going into that in case the players aren't sort of fully recovered in time?
Yeah, a little bit, especially because of the fact I don't think people understand. Because I'm pretty sure that even the people that haven't got it ain't training, because I'm pretty sure we've closed off all of our thing. Because obviously it's health and safety, it's best to not let anyone else get it. So they've sent everyone home, I believe, anyway. I don't know how long that is for, but it's just going to have a big impact on the team. But what I'm more worried about is not training and being prepared for whatever the next match is. I don't even know what it is after Brighton. It must be some midweek game. I know we got West Ham soon in the EFL Cup for the quarterfinals, but I don't think it's that fun.
Yeah,
No,
actually Prem games.
Yeah, it's a Prem game midweeks next week.
Yeah, is it Prem? Yeah. Yeah, I don't know who it is, to be honest. I think it might be Leicester. Yeah, I think it might be Leicester, but yeah, it's not great, but it is what it is. You can't really do anything about it.
Yeah, you got Leicester, Liverpool, then West Ham in the cup.
Yeah.
Not ideal set of fixtures, is that? Yeah, I want to say I saw one other club today that had a little outbreak. I can't remember which club it was. I think one other club did have it, and I think it was an English club as well. But yeah, I'm not really sure what's happening in England, to be fair, new restrictions coming in as well. So could be interesting to see how that actually develops in terms of do they need to get vaccinated and all that kind of stuff. But let's go back to the Champions League now. Chelsea played earlier, finished 3-3 against Zenit. Took the lead late on with Werner, who got 2 goals and an assist. But Zenit equalised in the 94th minute, meaning Chelsea are second in their group. Jack, do you think that's how big do you think that is that they did finish second in the end?
Yeah, I think they'll be disappointed.
Yeah,
I think Chelsea will be disappointed. They lost the first game, but they beat Juventus the second game, didn't they? So all they had to do was beat Zenit both times and beat
Malmo.
Is it Dynamo Kiev? Is that him? Is that
Malmo?
No,
Malmo, that's it. Yeah. So I think they'll be disappointed. I think it is big because now they can get the likes of Bayern Munich. I'm not I can't think, but I know they can get Bayern Munich and other big teams. So they're probably looking at it like, yeah, I think they'll be disappointed because how they drew they won one, lost one with Juve. They're big competitors. So all they had to do was win the other 4 games, and Champions Europe, very good squad, very good manager. They should have done that comfortably, but they didn't. So obviously, you never know. With the luck of a draw, you could finish first. So you can finish second and still get, not because there's a group with not 4 not great teams in it. So you could get that group. So obviously, they'll be disappointed that they didn't finish top. But depending on the draw, it might not be that bad.
Yeah, well, this thing, like I'm looking at it now. No matter how good you are in the league or like what form you're on, you don't want to face Bayern at any point in the season. To be honest, you want to avoid them. So Chelsea, Lille are top of their group right now as it stands. Obviously, they can't play United, they can't play Liverpool, and they can't play City.
Madrid are not.
Yeah, so they got Madrid, Ajax, Bayern, or Lille.
Yeah,
as their options.
I wouldn't want Ajax either, to be honest.
Yeah. Well, that was my next point, and I'll bring it to you, Tom. they've won all 6 of their league games, Champions League games. They've scored 20 goals in that time. Only conceded 5.
They score a lot.
Yeah, we saw obviously a few years ago when we did our first sort of season of this, Ajax did very well. Are you expecting them to cause maybe a few shocks in this Champions League season again?
I could see it. They're firing. They got Sebastian Haller, who's firing. They got a load of talent around him, a lot of good youngsters still.
Yeah.
They got the manager. He's done it before. I think he's such an underrated manager. He just needs the move. To be fair, I think he's been very loyal because I think he could have got a move. But I think he's been very loyal. He doesn't want to go into. He won't go like midway through a season. He obviously wants to carry it out. It could potentially be the next Man United manager, like full-time one in the future. You never know. I would personally like that. If I was a Man United fan, I'd be interested in that. Yeah, I think Chelsea. You know what? I think I'd actually say I would rather play Real Madrid than. Yeah. Yeah, I think I'd rather play Real Madrid than Ajax, to be honest. Just because isn't Benzema out as well? I swear he's in.
I don't think so. I think he's all right.
Then they play anyway during Feb, don't they, or sometime? Yeah. So I don't know. It's a bit. They're gonna be. Obviously, they're gonna want Lille. They'll beat Lille. They'll beat Lille. Ajax and Real Madrid ain't the easiest, but if they get Bayern, they're out. They won't beat Bayern. Yeah. Chelsea are a good team, but 2 legs against Bayern, that's not easy. So they really need to avoid them, and it's a big miss because it was in their hands. And let's face it, they had a piss easy group. Like their hardest competitive team in that group was Juventus, and Juventus are nothing special. Chelsea are far ahead of Juventus. Juventus are like how we should be, how we look at Barcelona. They're not too far off that sort of level, to be honest. They're all over the place, and it was in their hands, especially when it's the 90th. What was it, 94th minute to concede 3 against Zenit?
Yeah.
But they've scored 3. They scored 3 goals. You'd think that'd be enough, and they've conceded 3, and they're meant to be solid. I didn't see the lineup. I don't know whether it was weakened a lot, but I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Kepa in goal, Sarr, Azpilicueta, Christensen as centre backs.
Do you blame that on the manager then? So, is that one of his first mistakes he's made?
Yeah, although they would want to top it, and you'd probably play a bit stronger squad than that, wouldn't you?
They get Bayern, they'll really regret it. If they get Lille, it don't matter. So it really depends on what happens in a draw.
Yeah, like I said, Ajax, very good team. I think Haller is now the 2nd player to score in every single group game during Ronaldo with that achievement. I think he's beaten Haaland. Is it 10 Champions League goals? Yeah, I think he's done 6 games. Crazy stats considering, at West Ham he's, I think, a bit disappointing. Didn't look this dangerous, but it seems like in this Ajax team, he's just their perfect striker. You mentioned they've got a lot of good youngsters in that team. I think Anthony on the wing is one of their better ones, unbelievable player. Looking like a really good talent, getting Brazil caps under his belt as well. Very good for him. Well, move on to Bayern, another team with 100% record this group stage, beating Barcelona 3-0 right now, making it look quite easy. I was watching the game before we started this. Thomas Müller reaching 50 Champions League goals, first German player to do so, I believe. Jack, from the way, obviously at the start, we said PSG with the squad they have, probably favourites, and still should with the squad they have, but are Bayern the team to beat right now?
Yeah, I think everyone, maybe some people might not agree, but personally, I'm very naive when I said that. We just looked at PSG squad. They've got the best players, but that doesn't always mean they've got the best team. You know, he, you know, as a PSG, they're hard to get those three superstars in. You know, you can't. We saw in a game against City how their press and, you know, they're not really pressing, are they? So we're probably not even saying PSG just because of the names, but Bayern Munich, they look at the moment the team to beat. You know, they didn't have the most difficult group, but they've dispatched it easily. Like you said, they're winning 3-0. Barcelona aren't great, but they're not the worst side in the competition, and they're comfortably beating them. So, yeah, I think, you know, if Lewandowski stays fit, which was a massive problem for them last year, I think they'll definitely be the team to beat.
Yeah, obviously they've won now. Games over. Muller, good goal, good header after a good assist from Lewandowski. Sane, I don't know if you guys saw it. It's a bit of a knuckleball effort. It had some movement, but I think Ter Stegen definitely should have done a bit better. And then Musiala getting the third. So I think that was a job done for them. Liverpool, the final team with a 100% record as well. I think you rarely see three teams sort of get it. They're really starting to hit their stride now, I think. You know, that probably on paper is one of the harder groups in the Champions League. And they made it look easy, didn't they? So, you know, it's a difficult one. You've got City, Chelsea, and Liverpool going for the Premier League and Champions League. Tom, do you think, you know, they can keep, all three of those teams can keep up on both fronts?
Sorry, who are we talking about?
City, Liverpool, and Chelsea going for the League and Champions League right now.
City, yes. Squad depth, amazing. Squad depth. The only thing is, with City, I'm always on the back, on the fence with this one, whether they can just get the Champions League over the line. I always say they got a chance. I'm not saying it this year. Like, well, they've got a chance, obviously, but I always say they're going to win it. Yeah, because I feel like they're the only team that actually suit beating Bayern, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And Liverpool, not great depth, to be honest, but they keep them fit. The quality is unreal. Chelsea. The thing is with Chelsea, their performances recently haven't been great, but they have been getting all right. They had a bad result tonight, in hindsight, and obviously against West Ham. But throughout the season, like, they haven't been playing great, but they have been getting the wins in. I think for out of the English teams, personally, Man City got to be favourites. I think they're definitely a team that can literally just go far in any competition, just because the quality. It's not just the depth; it's the quality and the depth, and they're just playing unreal this year.
Yeah, it's hard to pick. I think there is something about Chelsea. They got depth, but I'm not confident with their depth. If you know they want to go far in both competitions, and City's depth is just, I think, clearer for both of theirs. Chelsea's depth is the interesting one. Obviously, I know Werner did well today, but how much can we really rely on him? The likes of Ziyech, Saul, all these guys. So definitely interesting one. Liverpool, their depth is a problem. It's just going to be a problem for them in January during the AFCON. But I mean, Origi's just that guy at the moment, and he probably will be that guy come February as well.
Yeah, I feel like Liverpool, they've got depth in other positions, just not the attacking positions.
Yeah.
You know, we look at their centre backs. Van Dijk and Matip, they've been brilliant this season. And you got Joe Gomez and Konate on the bench. You know, but then you got obviously fullbacks a bit different. Trent and Robertson to Miskas, and Nico Williams, quite a drop there. Midfield, you've got good options. If they all stay fit, then, you know, they do get quite a lot of injuries. And then attack, you know, that's where you've got the Firmino, or let's go Jota, Mane, Salah, and you've got Firmino, Origi, and Minamino. So quite a drop in there as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the midfield they got so much depth, but the injury, like you said, there's a problem keeping them fit, and I guess the way they play, that's not a really surprise. So City top their group, PSG second. I think PSG's game against Club Brugge yesterday is their best performance of the season, and quite easily, because they actually dominated the game and they're actually the better team for once. Usually, they're just always second best league, Champions League. They drew to Nice last week. It was just a terrible performance. They needed last minute goals to sort of get them a draw, but against Bruges, everything just sort of clicked for them. Mbappe gained 2 very good early goals. Verratti was very good in midfield, tenacious. Messi scored 2 goals as well, so a penalty, but it's a good performance from them in general. Donnarumma putting a very good display in as well. So maybe things are starting to click for them a bit. I think Messi's starting to get a few more goals, then maybe that could improve them a little bit, but it's still not where I think anyone expected PSG to be. I think Poch still has his work cut out for him. He's got to do a lot of planning with their winter break, because when they come back, the pressure is going to be on them to do quite well. But I do have a question for the both of you. What do these players have in common? Erling Haaland, Marco Reus, Pedri, Depay, Jules Koundé, Diego Carlos. What do these players have in common? What was that?
Europa League.
Exactly. They're all going to be in the Europa League next year in terms of February. I'm telling you, man, it's the place to be. That is the place to be. The golden boy in the Europa League. So. I mean, it speaks for itself.
Arsenal are in there.
If only, man. If only. But we set the tone for the competition. I think we've made it what it is today.
I liked how you only talk about the European competition this week and not the Premier League.
I don't know what Premier League you're talking about, to be honest with you. But let's talk about Arsenal, because it's been a very disappointing sort of 2 weeks for us. We bounced back after the Liverpool win. We spoke about that. We spoke about how we sort of need to keep it going against United rather than make it 2 defeats in 3. And obviously, Jack, I'm sure you probably think of it differently to I did, but I thought at 2-2 we were sort of getting better. And I think Saka was literally about to come on, probably push the game in our favour a bit more. And Odegaard, who I thought had a pretty good game in general, just absolutely put in the most unnecessary reckless challenge on Fred of all players in the box, and just threw the game for us. I think that was better than our performance up until that point last season at Old Trafford, even though we won last season, because we seemed better going forward. We were creating a few more chances. I know our first goal was obviously still a bit controversial, but I don't think we did anything wrong in that state. But the way we defend the 2 goals, the first ones were so similar, and I just couldn't believe it. Like when Ronaldo was going to that box, I said to him, I'm literally screaming, surely everyone sees Ronaldo there. He's the only one in the box. And he's just completely unmarked. And I was like, I couldn't believe it. And, that was disappointing itself. But, at that point, we're still 2 points ahead of you. Everton come out, Everton next, away from home, albeit, the form they're on, we should be winning that. Take the lead. Decent goal from Odegaard with cross from Tierney. We get lucky with a few Richarlison offsides. Then eventually he does get his goal. It's a good header. I don't think complain about that too much. Xhaka does his Xhaka business, but I still stand by him, one of the best players in the world. But that means he can't take out Andre Gomez in the last minute. At least Demarais Gray scoring an absolute world of a goal. But we're in this habit where we seem to be just giving teams an easy win when they need one.
I thought you were shocking.
Yeah, it's terrible.
You know what? I wasn't going to watch it, but I thought, you know what? Surely they had to bounce back. They're against Everton, haven't won in the last 8. Fans were planning a walkout in the 27th minute. Surely you had to come out. And I was watching the game and I was thinking to myself, they're so boring.
Yeah.
What are they doing? They're not attacking. They're just passing it round aimlessly. They're not even passing it around in good positions. And then, like you said, it's like you got let off. You didn't learn your lesson. You got let off twice. You didn't learn your lesson and come back to buy you. But yeah, you were awful.
Yeah, I don't get it. Normally, we do get like against United, we got off to a good start, and that's been a sort of a common theme for the last on the run we went on as well. Like if we get off to good starts, and then once you go ahead, I don't know, but I don't think it's an Arteta thing. I think it's a player thing because Odegaard even spoke about this week. The plan isn't to sit back after 1-0, it's to go for another goal. But these players, they just rather defend a 1-0 lead. And I mean, Tom, you spoke about it so much last season with Tottenham as well. That's not the right thing to do. You've got to go for another goal. It's not dangerous. It's a dangerous thing to be doing, like going for a 1-0 and just sort of sitting in that, hoping that another chance sort of comes up. But like on paper, it's similar to last season of these results. But when you look at it, it's a bit different because last season we were just shit. Like we couldn't score, we couldn't do anything. But now we're taking leads and losing the leads, which we weren't really doing. We like last season we struggled to take a lead in any game, and now we just can't hold on to that.
Still can't score this season.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. I swear
only Norwich have scored less goals than you.
Exactly, open play's been terrible, but in terms of actually like taking the lead, I think we've got to do better with that. We're not using that to our our sort of strengths. I feel like we do have the players to sort of build on a lead and who's usually be more comfortable attacking when we have a lead, but they're not playing like that. And we had the chance to really draw that Everton game as well, and Ketcher missing a very easy chance, and then Aubameyang with the last kick of the game, setting it wide with awful body positioning from him. I don't know.
Confidence levels.
I think with Aubameyang is, I think that's why he missed that chance.
Yeah.
I think his confidence levels are absolutely terrible right now.
They're shattered.
Shattered, yeah.
2-3 games in a row.
Big misses. I know the United one was offside anyway, but that was a big miss. The Newcastle, big miss. Everton won last week the game, sort of, after being benched as well. Huge miss. Other players, Odegaard is a weird one. He's sort of started to get into form a bit now, but it's not really coinciding with the rest of the team. I think Partey, said use a 4 out of 10 so far, then drops a 2 out of 10. Not ideal. But I think, and I don't think he's 4 out of 10. I think the injuries have sort of played a part with that. I think he definitely makes us a better team, but I think there's too much rotation in that midfield right now. I think if you look at the defense is actually doing all right in most scenarios, because you sort of got that back, most of that back four sort of cemented now. Ramsdale cemented behind him as well. It's just with Partey out of the squad right now, Lukongo's in there for a long time, and then he's been rested for a few games. Xhaka straight back in. Ainsley Maitland-Niles in there, in and out. El Nani in and out. I don't know why he started Old Trafford personally, however good he is, or say good, how better he is at defending the others. I think we need some sort of consistency in there right now, just to, just the same way we did the defense, and hopefully that will help that attack kick on a bit more. So, but we don't have time to sort of go on a bad run like we did a good run, because we've got Southampton this weekend, who we should beat at home. Like, no excuses. They've got a huge game against West Ham during the week, which we have to win, because if we don't, that top 4 spot is looking a bit sort of further away now. Right now, I don't think it's something panicking just yet, because we are still fairly close to it. I think we're 7th, 3 points behind, 4 points behind, but lose that West Ham game, that's going to be a massive blow for us. And then the Christmas period, we've got that cup game against Sunderland, which we should win, but it's still not an ideal time for that fixture. We've got, I want to say, City on New Year's. We've got, just in general as well, just so many games coming up. We don't have time to sort of be in a bad place like we were last year, because we saw how damaging that was around the Christmas period before we beat Chelsea at that point, which sort of kick-started it for us.
Is Smith Rowe injured? Because I do think you rely on him a lot, a
Yeah.
lot. Like, is the sort of driving forcing really pushing you forward, in my opinion, and getting that creativity going. And I think you did miss him against Everton. For me, anyway, even though it don't matter anyway when I say this because the performance was shit, I do think it was a red card. In my opinion, I think it was a stone wall red card in my opinion. Just because he didn't look at him, but I mean, I think he could have moved his foot. I really do.
I think there should have been 2 red cards, in my opinion.
I think it's a red card, 100%.
Yeah, like there was obviously that Godfrey one, and then I can't remember who was in the second half. Just started, I want to say Tierney or someone on the ankle, or like quite high, like low straight ankle, like pure stats like that.
Yeah, I remember that.
And I thought like fairly like that's a red, surely. It just wasn't given again, wasn't a yellow again. Like obviously, like saying doesn't really excuse the performance, but it should be a fairly easy decision, I think, for the ref to make.
You would have got 3 points.
Yeah. So
it changes games.
Exactly, it does change games. It is annoying, but unfortunately,
there's no excuse against Everton.
Exactly. If we were like Liverpool and that happened, then yeah, we've got to right to keep the refs. But
it's no excuse, but we're not talking about Arsenal at this point. We're more aiming this towards the officials. Like, I'd go fucking crazy if that was against Tottenham. I'd go mental.
Yeah, but you should first go mental with your performance before the ref. Because even with 11v11, you should have won.
Yeah, no, I get that. But they shouldn't have even had to rely on their performance, because as much as it was shit, this was weren't this quite early on in the game as well? Yeah, exactly. We didn't even know at that point what performance we were going to get from Arsenal. That changes the game, whether you're shit or not. I get that. They were shit, but it shouldn't have mattered what performance, because even if you're shit, they would have won that still.
Yep.
It's 3 points down the drain they've cost them.
I know, really, they cost themselves.
But Jack, it's a stonewall penalty. I'm not penalty, red card.
Okay, but it doesn't. They still might not have went on and won.
They would have won. Come on.
They might have not went on one, and still it would have.
They would have won.
But they should have won. They should have won with 11 men. So it doesn't matter.
Well, I'd be pissed off of it, to be honest. But...
Of course, you'd be pissed off, but you can't go, oh, yeah, it was bad, but they should have got red card, so that's why we lost. They didn't lose because of the red card. They lost because they were shit.
I never said that.
No, I'm not saying you did. I'm just saying, like, in general, they didn't lose because they didn't get Arsenal didn't get sent off. They lost because their performance was not good enough against a poor Everton team.
And poor officiating.
But they shouldn't have had to rely on the officials.
No, they shouldn't have. But the officials need to do their job properly.
Yeah, they do.
He literally got stamped on.
Yeah, no, they do need to do their officiating properly.
That's not even like one of them ones where you're like, oh, it's not. That is like a health and safety sort of fucking.
Yeah, no. Red card.
It
should have been a red card. But whether they do their job properly or not, big teams like Arsenal can't rely on the official. They have to rely on their own performance. You know, they can only do what they can. They can only control their own performance, and their performance was not good enough. Their performance was not worthy of it. It's not like Arsenal battered Everton and lost, and then you could go red card cost us. But because they were so bad, in my opinion, you can't say anything about the red card cost them 3 points. That they cost themselves 3 points.
I still think Arsenal would have won if the red card changes things, but I know what you're saying. I agree.
Yeah.
But red card early on, they would have won. They would have won.
Yeah, I mean, Yeah, I agree with like both. Yeah, I think like Jack said, we can't rely on a ref to make a right decision. But in reality, the ref should be making a fairly easy decision there. I think
Yeah,
it's a bit of a
that's
joke. I think.
not even like a little bit debatable. That is 100% no doubt.
Yeah,
That's what makes. That's what I'm saying. It worries me, even though I loved it. It's Arsenal, great, but it worries me if that would happen against my team. That's crazy. I didn't see the other red card situation that you were on about with Tierney, so I don't know about that one. But when I saw that, I was
Yeah, I
absolutely
didn't think that one quite was a red card, but it was definitely a yellow. But obviously, the ref didn't even give. I'm pretty sure the ref didn't give a foul, so the
yeah,
ref
we'll
must
know
have not
from
seen
yeah.
it. So if he's not seen it, and then they've not told him to go look at the AI, he can't give a yellow if he's not seen it. But in my opinion, it wasn't a red, but definitely yellow.
Yeah, it wasn't as clear cut as the other one, but I think if it was given, you couldn't really argue against it. As one of those ones. But yeah, but we'll wrap it up here. We got obviously Europa League tomorrow with Conference League, so we'll get sort of final things on that. Then I believe Monday is the draw for the next round of the competition. Obviously Premier League this weekend as well. But yeah, anything you guys want to add? We've got 2 minutes left if you want to talk about it.
Mendy's overrated.
Yes, just make sure you get that in. Unbelievable goalkeeping against West Ham. Can never be Ramsdale. Have a nice